Alright, this is a 100% achievement uh, after game report of Journey. Probably should have done this before I started recording. So I got all the achievements. There was only one thing that I had to look up. I didn't have a clue what there was something about discovering a mysterious flower in the desert or something. I didn't have a clue what that achievement even meant. Um, and then so I had to look it up, and when it said discover the flower in the desert, like the title of the achievement didn't mean anything to me. And I had looked up the flower in the desert. I was like, I don't have a clue. I searched all over every map for anything remotely similar to a flower in the desert. Saw nothing. So what I ended up doing was, come on now, looking that up, which I hate doing. Alright. We'll just use my rivet to auto walk for me. I had to look it up, which I hate doing, and it turns out the reason I couldn't find it is because the thing only spawns after you pass where it is in the first place. So when I started on the desert level, that's screenshotable right there. When I started on the desert level, I actually went past where that stupid flower was many times. The flower just wasn't there at the time that I went there. Alright, more rivet action. I was going to show you guys the fancy new white robe that you can get. But I guess you have to go through this whole intro part first before you go back and get the white robe. Once you have it, if you're already in the game, you can just go to the end of this particular area, and that's the level selection. So I really enjoyed this game. It was a ton of fun. There is nothing... There are things that affect you in the game, but there's nothing resisting you in the game. It's basically impossible for you to not finish the game as long as you just keep going. It's really less of a game and more of an experience that way. So we'll come over here and get the first glyph. The game isn't going to be for everybody. If you expect a ton of action, if you expect a lot of adrenaline or anything like that, this is definitely not the game for you. There is no adrenaline anywhere in the game. Really, the game it just evokes a sense of wonder. So all these glyphs here, yep, here's a graveyard. All these glyphs here that you unlock these walls, they tell the story of the alien race that lived here once upon a time. And as you travel through this world, you basically see the history, a very truncated, obviously, history of this alien race. Okay, so right here, all these glyphs here, all these glowing symbols are the symbols available on the various levels. So like level 1 up here, there's only 3 available. Level 2, level 3, there's 4. Level 4, there's only 3 again. And then levels 5 and 6, there's 4. If you get all of them, then you have these white streamers here. And if you walk into the white streamers, your robe will turn white. Now you have to walk out before it turns back red. It'll cycle through red and white and red and white. Check this out. There, I'm white. But if I was to just stand in there, it would go red, white. So the white robe has, number 1, a longer scarf, a much longer scarf, and number 2, the symbols on the scarf regenerate. So you have to be on the ground for it to happen, but look how fast this happens. And done. You can still replay the game and get all your symbols, and your scarf will get super long. So let's go pick up this one down here. So there are 2 ways to interact in this game. 2 ways, and only 2 ways. You can jump, or you can make a little musical chime. So when you reach the end of a level, the symbols at the final stone right here, surrounded by these gravestones, the symbols will be lit up according to what you have found. If you haven't found everything in that level, go back and find them. It's a lot easier to do that than to come back here to the beginning. Because when you come back to the beginning, you lose all of your upgrades. So if you have a scarf that's like 18 feet long, and you think, oh, well, on one of the levels I missed a symbol, one of the 3 symbols, I only got 2 out of 3, I should go back and finish that level. You don't go back as the fully upgraded traveler. You go back to the very beginning as the traveler with no upgrades. So it's always better to finish the level while you are there. Now you can still come back here, and these are all the portals to the levels right here. Each one of these buildings has a portal inside that will take you to a level. And I don't know as they're laid out in any like logical fashion, but it will show you, like that's the tower where there's the rising kind of mana mist stuff, and the mist recharges your jumping ability, recharges your scarf, and you have to do various jumps and tricks and everything to get all the way up to the top of the tower. That's the second to the last level, and then the very last level is the mountain, which comes in 2 parts. You're outside the mountain, which is what that shows right there, and then like you're just marching through the snow, mostly, trying to avoid the storm, that sort of thing. And then eventually you're inside the mountain, or beside, I should say, the mountain. and trying to get up. And that part of the game, I would say, is kind of, I don't know if frustrating is the right word. Not fun, anyway. It was kind of tedious getting up the mountain because there's a giant windstorm. And so you're fighting this giant storm that periodically blows you back, and you just keep on going. And so honestly, all I did was I took my rivet, which is my magic. This thing plays games for me. I took the rivet, I put it on walk forward, and I left the room. And I honestly, I went and got a drink and talked to other people and did whatever else and came back, and my character was still walking forward. So like at that point, what are we even doing? So that level you have, so this is the very first level. Once you finish this level and you go through the gate over there, the finish gate, and you're done, then you come out to a broken bridge, and then after you go through a broken bridge, you come out to a desert, which I guess all of those are supposed to be the same level. They're just different parts of the same level. This right here is a city, a ruined city, and one of the achievements is when you're surfing through the sand in the city, which the entire level is just surfing through the sand. This is the one level that you can't go backwards on, because the entire thing you're surfing the sand. You're not moving yourself. But one of the achievements on this level is to go through like 15 arches, which is not even remotely close to hard if you're paying attention. You can get like 19 or 20 arches if you're paying close attention. So getting 15 isn't all that big of a deal. You should be able to get it on your first run. And then this, I think, is the mountain, the Crack of Doom here, where you're right at the very, very end. So yeah, the levels are... the desert. Hang on, I'm turned around here. So, oh no, the tower. Yeah, see, these things are not laid out in order. From the tower, you go to the mountain. The tower lets out straight into the mountain. And that I'm pretty sure was the mountain right there. So this is the tower. You get to the tower through underground caverns that you get to from the city. So the beginning of the city, you're surfing through the sand, going through the arches and everything. And that leads you into the underground of the city. And you go through the underground of the city, so that's the second part of the city, which is not surfing, that's actually walking. And it's laid out as if you're underwater. There's like kelp beds, but they're carpets waving up in the air and everything. And it even has a blue tint. And then after that, you have to go through just a big long tunnel with some nasty guardians, and one of the achievements is to go through the tunnel without getting hit by one of the guardians. Just move fast, and if one of them starts to spot you, jump up and then stay up, and the guardian won't be able to get you unless you're on the ground anyway. It's not actually all that hard to do. So I'll go to the next part of the desert level, which is this beginning part here, and that'll be the broken bridge. One of the achievements on the broken bridge is to cross the broken bridge without fixing it. Fixing it is where you activate all of the ribbons that cross over the bridge so that you can just walk right across it. But once you have the white cape here, the white robe with the regenerating scarf, it's really not hard at all to cross it. you can cross the second and third gaps without ever regenerating. The first gap, I'm not sure whether you can cross the first, but let's go ahead and check it out. I know you can do the second and third because I've done those. But let's go ahead and see if we can cross the first. And hopefully this computer-generated buddy here. On this second level here, the computer, if you don't have a friend playing with you, the computer will generate a multiplayer for you. And sometimes the multiplayer does things that you don't want to do, like they complete the bridge while you're trying to cross it without completing it, and then you have to come back and repeat the level again because he was a jerk and repeated the bridge. Even though it's AI, because it's computer controlled. There's no way I'm playing with somebody because I'm offline. Alright. So we'll come over here and get this first symbol. To increase my scarf. And then over here behind a sandfall is another symbol. You move faster when you're flying, so best to just keep on jumping and jumping and jumping. As soon as your scarf is recharged, just keep on jumping. Alright, so where is that? That other symbol is it over here on this side? I remember it's behind a sandfall. Oh, there it is. So this will give us an extra scarf length here. And then the third symbol is over here on the other side of the broken bridge, but it's up on top of a ledge. You have to get the other two symbols first, unless you have the white robe. You have to get the other two symbols first, otherwise you won't be able to jump high enough and get far enough to actually reach it. So it's right up there. Once you have the white robe, it's not even hard. Like, you basically stop right on top of it. You don't even have to touch the ledge. Like, if you got the red robe still, then you're going to be right at the edge of the ledge there. And we'll go ahead and activate this glyph here, this wall. So at first they settled the planet. Maybe they were from the off-planet, I don't know, but the planet had... you saw in chapter 1 the planet had like plants. They put plants and birds and everything, and then here they built cities. Here's a nice big city, and now let's go back to the beginning and see if we can cross this very first gap without activating. We might have to activate the first one, but let's give it the old college try here. Alright, so right here at the edge, we got it. Yeah, so you can. So you actually don't need to activate anything at all. You can cross the entire bridge without any ribbons if you have the white robe. But you have to activate the glyphs that you can find on this level in order to make it that far. And then you do your musical chime. sit in the light, watch the ghosts of the aliens past tell you their continuing story here. And you get part of it via the glyphs, but you get part of it via this also. So they're planting, they're terraforming, xenoforming, whatever. I don't know what the proper word would be. And they're building buildings, taller buildings, and then here's the bridge here. Constructing the bridge, and then I guess that's sand. Red sand, and they get red sand flowing through the bridge, and their red sand powers their towers. They become all bright and shiny now. It's some kind of a power source that they generate. It's almost like an aqueduct, except it looks like it's red sand and it's a power source. Alright, so now we're into the desert part. Just the sand dunes desert part of chapter 1, and here I'll show you that desert flower. Yeah, it's like pink desert sort of thing. That desert flower only spawns like after you pass the part where the desert flower is. So the magic mountain here that you're headed towards, it's constantly spewing out these little things. Those are the magic symbols that charge your cape. Is that somebody in front of me sitting there? And so we just keep on going forward straight at the mountain until 2 of those stars come popping out. And watch where those 2 stars go. 1 star will be a symbol that does not spawn until the mountain spits out those 2 things. I don't know why this is spinning around on me. I believe this right here is where one of the glyphs is. On the other side, on the inside of this wall right here. So there they are with all their plants and their birds. Alright, is this it right here? Yeah, I think this is it right here. Okay, so there's 2 of them. Oh, right there. That's it. It's just split into 2. Now watch the far one. That near one turns into a symbol, but watch the far one and see where it goes. Watch the clouds. See where it lands in the clouds. Okay, so there's like a finger going up. Now it landed right at the crook of those clouds there, and it lands in a different place according to where you are. So we're just going to remember that, but for now we're going to come down here. This is the near one, the one that fell down right by us. It actually comes down here, and if you're close enough, you see it land. It doesn't actually land right on top of this building, even though it stops on. The star comes shooting out of the mountain, and it comes and it circles the building once, and then it goes up and on top. So there we go. We'll just go ahead and pick up that while we're here. Now, I'm gonna get up here, and we're gonna look at those clouds, because we looked at the clouds, and this orientation right here, it was in, come on now, right about there. That crook right above my head right now, that crook in the clouds is where that other star landed. So we're gonna go straight at that little notch, that downward notch in the clouds there, and we'll find a flower here in the desert, probably right over the second dune here in front of me. Yeah, I think it'll be over this one right here. Right there. There it is. So it's just a little yellow flower that and it gives off your little chime there. So yeah, when you see those two stars come flying out of the mountain, the far one will give you that flower there. Pretty sure there's 4 symbols on this part of this level. One of them is on the top of this column that's up ahead here on the left. Oh, here's the other glyph. The other, whatever, the wall, the mural. I guess glyph is probably not the right word. So then they built flying machines. Hooray for technology, they have flying machines. There it is. So at the top of this right here, is there another wall here? I don't remember. So this is our second symbol here. The third symbol is in the city that's in the middle of the sandstorm. I think there's 2 walls here, if I recall correctly. Oh, didn't let it recharge enough. Ah! Come on now. Up we go. So, I mean, your scarf is not this long when you're wearing the red. Not at this point in the game. Like at the very, very end of the game, maybe it's this long. But now I'll show you. So if you go to this and you go to the chapter select, so look at how long this scarf is right here. Now if you go to chapter select, it takes you back to the beginning and your scarf has shrunk. So this is the beginning scarf for the white traveler. And you can see those glyphs are all the way back, the symbols, and the one on the back end of this is also going to be there. So you can come here to the chapter select and do something else, but in doing so, you go back, you lose all of your upgrades. No matter how far you are in the game, you lose all your upgrades and you go back to to the very, very beginning. But if you've unlocked the white robe, it's not that big of a deal because it's super easy at that point to finish the levels. As you saw, you can just fly almost non-stop through the entire level. You barely even slow down, which is cool. I loved this game. It was really cool. You're I don't want to say you're like an Indiana Jones style archaeologist. You're not really an adventure archaeologist. You're more of a it's a platformer, certainly. You're jumping from platform to platform. Not a side scroller, also obviously. You're really not a Indiana Jones or Lara Croft or anything adventure archaeologist. You're more of an explorer, I guess, archaeologist. You're trying to find every little nook, every little cranny, you're meant to explore the entire region and learn the story. Like, do actual, I don't want to say actual archaeology. It's not like you're looking at broken pieces of clay and trying to fit them together and decide whether it belonged to the boat people or the Philistines. But you're trying to reassemble the story of this lost civilization based on your experiences as you travel through the ruins of their civilization. And it's a fantastic story if you're into this sort of thing. I mean, if you're not into this sort of thing, then obviously, like, if you want to just play Call of Duty all day, go play Call of Duty all day. This will not be your game. This is a lot more chill, slightly cerebral, more of a game of wonder, less of a game of adrenaline rush or anything like that. But yeah, I got 100% achievements on this, but I did have to look up that flower thing because I couldn't for the life of me figure out where it was. The mysterious creatures, those are actually easy to find. I don't know. When I was looking up the flower thing to try and figure that one out, I found out that a lot of people have trouble with the mysterious creatures. If you just continue exploring the level, you'll find them. Just don't be in a rush. It really wasn't all that hard. But apparently that's one that some people have trouble with. On the tower level, just go back, and after you finished raising the sparkly mist all the way up to the top of the tower, just go back to the middle of the tower and go back and forth through the center of the tower. You'll find a symbol, and you'll also find one of the mysterious creatures. But yeah, I would definitely rate this as one of my top games in terms of enjoyment. I wish it was longer. I finished the game in about, I think, 8.9 hours, I believe. So I wish it was longer. It was by the time I got to the end, I didn't realize I was that close to the end. But by the time I reached the mountain, I was going, "Oh wait, I'm at the mountain. Isn't the mountain supposed to be my destination?" And like then you're facing the storm that's blowing you back the whole time, and you're like, oh, okay, well, this is how they extend the gameplay, by just 2 steps forward, 1 step back sort of thing. Which to me isn't fun, but I got to the end and got my white robe, so yay. So yeah, if you're into that sort of thing, into games that are just kind of chill, and you're not going to need to invest a lot of time and energy. You're not going to have to research out a whole bunch of stuff. Like, I finished the entire game and only had to look up one thing ever. And I'm not a super crazy gamer. I don't get a lot of this stuff. I'm old and busted and don't understand video games, and I finished the game in under 9 hours and only had to look up one thing. So, like, basically everybody out there can do it, honestly. As long as you have, like, fingers to press the buttons and that sort of thing. and eyes to see with. So yeah, that's Journey. And I totally back this game. It's a fantastic game for people who like this kind of game. And I highly recommend it. Yep. So that's all I got for you. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.